Some experiences forever change you as an artist. For me, one of them was my recent trip to Australia. The landscape, the colors, even the texture of the trees completely changed the way I approach abstract painting. So today I want to share with you how Australia reshaped my art practice and why the nature is still the most powerful teacher. But before we dive into it, hi, my name is Esther Franchuk. I'm an artist, traveler, creative, lover of beautiful things, and I make videos about everything around my art studio, tips for artists and collectors, and so much more. So if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you will not miss any of the upcoming videos. So before Australia, back in the days when I was just 15 years old, when I just enrolled in my first ever art college, we actually used to draw inspiration a lot from nature. We were taught to go out and we were painting landscapes from life. And that was actually one of my most favorite things. And we also did still lifes from life. We did figure drawing and painting from life. We used to just spend so many hours of just observing actual living object or the landscape or still life, just like something real in the space, and really think and look three-dimensionally. And you basically have like a three-dimensional space or object, and then you are translating it into two-dimensional. So it's a really common practice that have been there for generations and generations of artists, painters throughout the whole art history. It has been a foundation of any kind of art school and art education. And there is a reason for it, and also it's just really beneficial to observe things and paint from life because of this difference in dimension and translating from 3D to 2D as you paint, and it just makes your work way more rich and sophisticated. There's more plane shifts that you are noticing. It's just really impactful practice, and that's what I believe is in the core of really good professional art. Over the years though, as many of us do with technological progress and the use of social media, I started taking more and more influences from online, Google, Pinterest, like all kinds of online resources, social media. I feel like we overflooded with content these days, and it's really easy to get lost in it, and it's really easy to just end up emulating other artists, other influences that you see specifically online. And even though it could be a really helpful practice, and it's good to use this feature and this progress that we have right now as a source of inspiration as well, and it's a privilege in our generation, we have to be also selective of not have a tunnel vision, because sometimes I feel like it does lead to tunnel vision when you are just locked in all of those influences and experiences, and it gets overwhelming, and then you're just not anymore processing the real world around you, and you're not like filtering and finding inspiration inside of you, around you, in your surroundings, like really paying attention to your own unique creative way of processing what you see, how you feel, and translating it into your art practice. So you basically start painting what you see online instead of what you truly observe in the world around you. I personally didn't feel like I had this tunnel vision in my art school years, but then just using social media more and more, getting more and more inspirations, just looking for other artists and what they're doing, constantly consuming content. And especially after transitioning to abstract art, I realized that I'm just keep looking at different artists and what they're doing, and I'm trying to figure out how to approach abstract art, how to approach composition, how to approach color story, based on what other people and other artists are doing. And what I find out though, that it was just really draining and exhausting, and I feel like I'm not really getting my own unique expression and voice shown through this art. And I didn't know back then when I transitioned into painting abstract that I have to perceive it the same way as I once perceived landscapes and figure drawing, and just really collect inspiration from the world, the natural world around me, and translate them into abstract painting by deconstructing objects and landscapes, and really just drawing inspiration from the nature, how I used to do back in the days. So it really wasn't until Australia, even though I already started developing some concepts that work with abstract art and getting some inspiration around me, it really didn't click until that trip to Australia, that the nature and the pattern and color and composition is already there. I was in the books in composition and design and just trying to see to make things work with just arrangements and trying out color palettes. But when we were in Australia, it was the most impactful trip because of how much it's opened my eyes, how everything is already there. Like the composition is already there. You just have to really slow down and start noticing things. You have to start noticing like the leaves and the trees and the patterns. Like that's how you can find out the textures to imitate, also mark making and so much more. Just the way nature arranges itself already tells so many stories. You just have to really find them, notice them and frame them and translate them into a non-objective piece of art. So you might ask why Australia, like why I wasn't able to see it before, and I think for me it was just so much different than everything I ever seen and experienced in my life and in my traveling, because I used to travel a lot. I used to even brand myself as traveling artist and do like color studies and paint outside. But when we were just about to land in Australia and we were like just flying over those wastelands and I was seeing the colors of the ocean and all of the deserts and just like the shapes that it's forming, an aerial view, and then everywhere we went it was just the nature is different, the flora and fauna, the animals, the shapes, the flowers. I was feeling like inside of a movie of like Avatar with the Pandora, with like the waterfalls and just the way of the box, the colors of the trees, the shapes of the trees and canyons, rocks, textures, just different sounds, different like something that is, if you're from Australia, for you it's probably like really like you're used to it, but it was just like, I don't know, lifetimes away to everything I experienced like here in Europe and also in Mexico. I've been to Mexico. Mexico was a little bit on that side, but I feel like it was still like way more similar to Europe. And Australia was just like, I have no idea what's going on. It's so different, it's so beautiful. And I think it was for the first time since the very beginning in my art school years where I was like, I wanted to document everything. I wanna copy and paste every single pattern that I see on the tree, on the landscape, like feathers of the birds. And I just wanna translate it to some kind of visual language in my art. And I just had this like aha moment that everything is there. Like I was trying so hard to like come up with all of these compositions and unique textures, but from the trip and from all of the content that I took there, I was just so amazed how much I can draw again from the nature, and how just having those experiences and this impact led me to creating way more beautiful, unique and sophisticated abstract art. So while in Australia I made many sketches and just photographed a lot of things because it was not a long trip, it was only 2 weeks. But when I came back to my home studio, I felt like an enormous wave of inspiration, and I just was so open to try new things, new color palettes. I feel like I was just really stagnant before, just working in the studio and like with my normal color palettes and like what I know is working in representational art and like what I find out like works well in decorative market. Then Australia really opened my eyes on trying really different color combinations that I didn't even think of implementing in my work before, because I saw those color combinations working in real life. I saw that those colors like really bright pink with lots of green and like variety of green of the rainforest and just like things like that, they really showed me that those things combine well. Those things are already existing in the nature, and those combinations are alive and they live in certain space, so they would translate as well really well to the work of art. I also started playing a lot more with textures and trying different mediums, because I was really eager to imitate many of the like rock patterns and scribbles and everything that I saw texture-wise on the trip to implement it into creating different textures that I used to. And Australia also changed the way I see not just color palettes but also composition. My perception of composition became something that could be also lived and experienced in the natural world. It's something that I can just grab from the nature and notice and then translate into art, versus just calculate and try to work like solely with like elements of art and like structures, which are a great way to approach composition. And all of this knowledge from the art school and everything that I learned along the way in my art journey is super helpful. But just noticing composition organically really gave me a lot more room to breathe in my art and just create more effortlessly. As a result of this trip, the whole new collection of my abstract art was born, including pieces like Arise Love, Dwelling Place, August, Pacific Peace, and Secrets Revealed. All of those have real life inspiration from Australia, from the pictures I took there. One of the paintings also that I did recently with composition coming from a picture I took in Australia, where the sea and the sky peek through the branches of the tree, and I really saw it in the moment. I took a picture of it and then I turned it into a full-scale abstract painting. This gave me a really good roadmap for composition, and this was one of the paintings that started in a completely different way that I used to work before. And actually the whole process of that piece, throughout the layers and initial inspiration and how it started, how this picture translated and all of this influences translated into picking up a color theme and composition, is fully documented in my course Confident Abstracts. It's one of the paintings that you can see full journey from very first brushstroke and inspiration to the very finished piece, and all of the struggles, all of the doubts, my whole thought process and how I think, how I approach composition and color story, how I use those influences, how I build layers, and so much more with no time lapses, nothing sped up, is documented, as well as 2 more paintings and their full processes with different color story, different composition, different approach, and so much more. In my course I also go in depth with this whole concept of art of noticing, and what are the practical tools of actually collect all of these influences and all of this inspiration, and how you then can turn them into your own visual language and stories to tell on your own canvases. So if you're interested in learning more about Confident Abstract, make sure to check the link in the description box down below, where you can find all of the information about it. For me, being an artist these days is so much more about noticing. Australia really reminded me of how much I love taking inspiration from real world and how much it has to offer. Especially in the days of so much digital tools and influence, it takes courage to disconnect yourself from it and to step back and to go back to the roots, to go back to how artists used to paint. Just be outside and try to listen carefully, try to notice carefully, try to document your journal, take a sketchbook, really imitate what you see around you, process it through your heart, through your soul, to develop your own unique personal visual language. And by the way, if you're an artist based in Australia, I know many of you are, because I received so many comments, and I always love reading where you guys from, because many of these places we have been and we really loved staying there. We're actually planning another trip to Australia soon. So if you're an artist, or if you're just from Australia and you love watching my content, you're interested in what I'm doing, please reach out. You can leave a comment down below, or you can reach out via email if you're interested in any in-person classes or plein air, like anything really. Maybe you just have ideas for creative collaborations. I really want this next trip to be about giving back to the community that I have here. So again, please leave a comment or reach out via email, and I will keep you guys in the loop of what we're planning and what is the timeline for our time there. So if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to see more videos about my process, my studio life, and also just color stories, composition, everything around abstract art. I would love to see you here. Thank you so much again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.